In the crematory. We have had an executive committee in the crematory, by the way. So we have a number of speakers tonight. If you would like to speak and you have not signed up, please do so. We ask you to keep it to 3 minutes and make your point, and there might be some questions coming at you. So we have 8 speakers tonight. All right, you ready to go? Can we all rise, please? And the flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Welcome to the Queens Community Board 5 July meeting. We're at Our Lady of Hope Auditorium. My name is Walter Sanchez. I'm your chair. And we're going to start with the public forum. And we're going to ask, we have people who signed up here. If you would like to speak and you haven't signed up, it's cool. Come on up. You could sign up. The first speaker we have is David Kupferberg, who's going to be talking about the Queens Bus Network redesign and bus stop resurfacing. Resurfacing?
Yeah,
restructuring.
Bus stop balancing, as they call it.
Balancing. I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's really a vendetta against bus stops in central Queens. A good example of the MTA's vendetta is along the Q18. From its southern terminus, the Q18 travels northbound on 65th Place, eastbound on 53rd Avenue, and northbound on 69th Street. There are currently bus stops in both directions on 53rd Avenue. If one looks at a map, the person wouldn't know that 53rd Avenue has a steep eastward rise. When I pointed out the rise during various outreach events, there were no replies. The silence was deafening. And when I brought this to the attention of the MTA's New York City Transit Committee on June 23rd, 2025, the acting chief of operations planning seemed to shrug off my ideas. The silence was deafening. The stops along 53rd Avenue will be eliminated effective August 31st, 2025. Shame on the MTA. Passengers United is a Section 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan transportation advocacy group. Passengers United accept ideas and suggestions from both sides of the political spectrum because we acknowledge that each and every neighborhood is different. This is why I am a member and an ardent supporter. In fact, all members of Passengers United are volunteers. In other words, we are not compensated for our expertise and services. Go to www.passengersunited.org for details and how to donate. Thank you. And I have also a diagram if people want a copy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Power to the people.
The next speaker is Allison Chen regarding Virginia Principe Playground.
Hello. Good evening, Community 5 board members. My name is Allison Chu. Before I speak on my agenda, I want to first acknowledge that my current zip code is 11415 in Kew Gardens, but I am a proud alumni of 11385. I am born and raised in Ridgewood, Queens. My family has been in Ridgewood since the 70s. I speak to the board today to talk about the Virginia Principe Park playground redesign. This playground sits within Frank Principe Park on Maurice Avenue and Borden Avenue. The playground redesign proposal currently expands the playground space by repurposing the presumed unused baseball field and also by adding 2 official pickleball courts. I want to shed light to the board today that the presumed unused baseball field is currently occupied by 6 pickleball nets that the community has self-funded and maintained. On the weekdays after school or work, starting around 3:30 p.m. until exactly 9:32 p.m., because that's when the lights turn off, the pickleball courts are fully occupied with a queue system. On the weekends, folks start showing up around noon. Barring bad weather, in total, we're estimating about 50 hours a week of consistent usage of the field for pickleball. At peak, you can count as many as 60 people, young to old, either playing, watching, or chatting on this field. I also have printouts of the community play that occurs at all seasons. If interested, I invite folks to come out and play with us after work. If you may not know, pickleball does not have an age or gender requirement. You just need to know how to play a paddle, how to hold a paddle. When I first started playing, I was very much schooled by the seniors. And besides seniors, I have played with children as young as 7. So it's an unspoken right of pickleball passage to mingle and adapt with different players. This has enabled a thriving community that continues to expand. Reducing the current space from 6 to 2 pickleball nets would be a true disservice to not just the current community, but future potential players as well. Further note, while the proposed court design appears to accommodate best layout, the design becomes non-functional around sunset as the sun glare makes the courts unplayable, thereby reducing court time for the working class players. I recognize that space is very precious, especially now in Ridgewood and Maspeth, but the baseball court field that was previously unoccupied until recently, the past 2 years, has really changed and transformed. A couple of friends and we just came from the park. I counted 54 people right now outdoors, and I asked the board to reconsider the design to accommodate slightly more pickleball courts. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Karachi, Summer Rising in District 24.
Hi, my name is Rachel Karachi, Community Board 5 member from Glendale. I'd like to take a moment to discuss the Summer Rising program in District 24. My children are 10 and almost 9, and we've been lucky enough to have gotten spots in the program the last 3 years. But lucky is the word because the way this program rolls out appears to depend a lot on luck, which is not a way any public program should be described. There is a lottery application system that rolls out in March with varying levels of priority. This year, they utilized an acceptance process as well. This was supposed to trigger a second wave of offers when seats were not accepted. My children were given seats off of the wait list, so I can personally confirm there were offers made. But the point is that the process is months long, and the roster is largely set with the students and their Summer Rising site known well in advance of July. I've been a parent coordinator in another district for the past year and working in education since 2011, so I have some knowledge of the behind the scenes, which only makes this year's issue so much more frustrating. To start, there are no Summer Rising sites in Glendale. The last 2 years we were at PS 91, a school walking distance from my home and reasonably accessible within Glendale due to its relative proximity to the bus on Myrtle. My children's affiliated Summer Rising site, since they go to PSIS 87, is PSIS 128 in Middle Village. A school affiliation, the school affiliation means that that is the school they have priority at for Summer Rising seats, an important consideration when you are applying and ranking your choices for sites. During the year, my children received busing because they live a mile from the school. There was no plan for my children to get to the Summer Rising program they were accepted into. Again, it is the program they were most likely to get into. Getting to 128 is a commute which would require either a 20-minute walk to the 54, followed by a bus ride, or no fewer than 3 transfers in 45 minutes. The Office of Pupil Transportation has a shuttle bus from 87, again, still a mile from our house. I have to drive my children to the shuttle bus because even though I normally split drop-off duties with my husband, we only have 1 car, so I have been late all week. The Office of Pupil Transportation is a system that every year is allowed to be a game of chance. When my son was a nonverbal 3-year-old attending special education preschool, he regularly was an hour late to school and took an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to his afternoon drop-off. Meanwhile, our bus during this year has been convenient, consistent, and on time to school. Again, we got lucky, but this proves it can be done. The DOE knew for months it had no sites in Glendale. It knew for months that my children were given sites in their affiliated site a distance from their home. It made no plans and gave no warnings other than to ask parents to be patient. Summer Rising OPT is always like this the first few weeks. I have been hearing this for years. The DOE needs to do better.
Thank you. How can we help? How can we help you, the community board?
I have been calling. I have a number of tickets in with OPT. They circle me back to the school, the transportation coordinator. The transportation coordinator is often a seasonal position for Summer Rising, meaning they don't have access to the usual things that the during the year transportation coordinator. They qualify during the year, so they should qualify during the summer. I have looked up and down the eligibility rules. They qualify. They haven't given it to me. I talked to the principal this morning. I mean, this is going outside the fact that the buses themselves are not guaranteed air conditioning, that the routes, again, can be expansive and take a long time. They just had no plan. It's not even that the plan is going terribly, it's they did not put them on any bus. So they knew my children go to that school during the year. They knew my children would be going to that school as of May when I accepted the seat.
Do you want us to make a call? Do you want, can we do
I
it
would
from
love
our
anyone
education
to
committee?
just, and in the last education committee meeting that I was in, I called them out for having no summarizing sites in Glendale. I don't know where they thought the Glendale children were going to go.
Okay.
Other than sites outside of Glendale. So,
Thank you, Rachel. Marcello, right? Oh, Rebecca is going to, Galvanez, about the Principe playground.
Yes. So my name's Rebecca Gavilanes. I live on 63rd Street, right near Frank Principe Park, actually a couple houses up from where Mr. Principe used to live, and I think his grandson currently lives. And I just wanted to add to the arguments that Allison very nicely summarized about the pickleball courts. Right now, the design only allows for 2 courts. We're currently raising 4 kids, ages 6, 11, 13, and 19, and my 6-year-old is really excited for the playground update, really looking forward to that. But my older kids don't really play on the playground anymore. They're a little bit older, and they currently play on the pickleball courts quite a lot, along with my husband. I think one of the great things about pickleball is that it encourages, like Allison said, younger people playing with older people, and it keeps our older people active. I think that's really important, and so the request is really just to add a couple more pickleball courts that are a little bit better oriented to the design if possible.
So, any questions? All right, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, how many people is there an organization that kind of gets together to help and run the pickleball cycle?
Yeah, I think there's a Q app. She'll know more about it than me because my husband couldn't be here in person. There's a Q app, and it's like they self-organize.
So it's an app.
Impressive.
It's through an app.
through
Is that
an
what
app,
you just
yeah.
said?
Yes, and we also have the person.
We'll get you later.
Okay.
We'll get you later. So now you
There's a
live.
list,
you
like
live
there's-
5 or 6 houses from the park.
Yep.
Do you hear the pickleball noise?
No, because it's at the far side of the park near the highway. So there's trees in the way and stuff. I don't hear anything.
So typically, neighbors around pickleball courts, and it was in the news maybe a year ago, didn't want the pickleball near them. But since where you guys play pickleball is near the highway, we have not gotten any complaints at all. And the light, when the lights are on, do you feel safer when the lights are on in the park?
Of course.
I mean, the athletic lights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
okay.
great because, keeps everyone playing for longer.
We fought the community board, and the community board are members of the community. They're people who live in the community, go down there, use the park. I use the park. We fought to have those lights because when the lights went out, when it got dark, that's when nefarious things happened at the park. So that's why you're a neighbor and you're here. That's great, and we want to hear that. So, and the neighbors agreed. In fact, Frank Principe walked around with a number of us asking whether they wanted lights or not, and people said yes. So thank you for that. Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, Paul Pogozelski. Subject, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it is a thank you. So, my name is Paul Pogozelski. I just recently ran for City Council, District 30. Came in second place. This is the place that I actually announced my candidacy, and it was through Community Board 5 that I actually got my foray into some sort of participation in government. I was homeschooling my kids, wanted to get more involved, and it was the people in this room that actually come here, volunteer, are up to date on a lot of issues going around the neighborhood, and then you start getting more and more involved. So I wish luck to Phil Wong, who actually won the election, and Dermot, who came in third. And I was really happy with the amount of people that voted for me. I got 5,230 votes, which is a lot of votes. almost the same amount that Bob got when he ran in 2021 against Juan Ardilla. So hopefully in 2029, I'll be taking on Alicia. And, and what do you call it? I'll have some fun in this neighborhood. Ultimately, Walter, I would love to join a parks committee or one of the committees in the area since I have some time available and I don't feel like going back to work. On top of that, we also have Middle Village Roller Hockey. So Middle Village Roller Hockey is how I got started in doing stuff in the neighborhood, getting involved with cleanup. So Middle Village Roller Hockey, we have a tournament this weekend. We're having Limbrook and Oceanside are showing up here. They're going to play our kids from Middle Village,
Nice.
and we're going to have a nice little game. On top of that, Middle Village Property Owners and Residents Association. We're going to take the summer off, do one cleanup somewhere in the middle, and then in September we'll be back active, and we're looking to actually be the first organization to offer a debate to Alicia and Phil Wong, since they're both running for City Council District 30. So I don't know if Alicia wants to respond now or not.
No, stop. Thanks, Paul.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone in the room for their time. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for your votes. Thank you for everyone that supported me in this room. Thank you for everyone that gave me advice. There was a lot of people that are in this room that actually helped me out along the way, and I do appreciate it. And it's been a beautiful journey. Thank you, Walter, and Vinny, and Gary, Walter, Eric. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
All right. Oh.
Questions? No. If you want to get on the Parks Committee, you're going to have to talk to the new committee over there. The pickleballers are taking over. Will Kang, Frank Principe Park.
Hi, my name is Will Kang. I just wanted to express my appreciation to this chance to speak about the pickleball community at Frank Principe Park, and express appreciation to Councilmember Holden's office and the Parks Department for their support over the past 1 or 2 years for our activities. Helping us provide storage space, helping us to get the lights turned on for the softball field until close to 10 p.m. every night. It's been a real boon I believe, to the community, for a place for people to come and socialize, meet new people, and get some physical activity at the same time. I invite anyone interested in just seeing what the buzz might be about, or even just maybe take a shot at learning pickleball, to come by. We have, we provide free lessons and intros to pickleball. We have people, as Allison was saying, we have people of all ages, seniors, parents with children, couples, singles, all meeting and playing together. And finally, I look forward to working with Community Board. I just came to mostly show my face and make Principe Park an even more inviting and welcoming place for all. Thank you.
Stay there. Don't go anywhere. We have some questions. I have a question for you. So,
Of course.
the nets that you use and the lines that you have, are the nets portable right now? You take them down?
Yes, when the lights go out, and people play till the lights actually go out, and they're taking down the nets in the dark, and then they put in a storage bin, like one of those
So the
construction
nets
lockboxes.
stay at the park. So you don't really need stanchions. You don't need posts there.
I mean, permanent stanchions are preferable, and we can get ones that are removable for special events, but we're actually, the nets are like $350 each, so they're pretty nice.
But if you have stanchions there, then other people you can't play softball there, they can't like roller skate there. So if they're movable, if you guys are agree to being movable,
Oh, yeah.
then it's an open space, and maybe we can have 6 courts. Because all we're doing is drawing lines.
Yeah, we'd love to, discuss these sorts of issues and what might create the space as the most flexible for as many uses, make it a multi-use space.
How do people join the organization, or how do people play? They just go down there and
They
say,
just
I
show
wanna play?
up when there are people there, and someone will almost always welcome you as a new face and ask you like what you might be interested in.
Unlike the tennis courts there, where it's the same people on
Yeah,
all
I mean,
day long.
it's
I was
an
a tennis
awful-
pro.
yeah.
I cannot play on that court because the same people play all day long. They don't get out.
Yeah,
So
it's kind
the
of a
Parks Department should
stereotype
look for that.
where pickleball players, it's like a cult. We just recruit everyone.
You
We
do, huh?
can't-
It's a little
Yeah.
terrifying
You,
there.
you will not be turned
Take it
away
easy.
at a pickleball court, I think. At least at Frank.
And how late do you play?
The lights turn out at 9:35, so yeah, there are people
And
playing.
I've seen you there at 7:30 in the morning, by the way. 7:30 in the morning on weekends. Anybody have any other questions for them at Principe, about Principe Park?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Will. Marianne Latanzio, Cannabis Shop Possibility, Maspeth.
Hi, I'm Marian Latanzio. I am a board member of Community Board 5, and I sit on the Board of Directors of Mashpee Town Hall. They're opening a cannabis shop at 7110 Grand Avenue. It came in before this cannabis committee, and we opposed it because of the proximity to the School of Heroes, and the children of 73 will be getting the bus right in front of where this shop is going to be. And those children are of the age where they're most appealed by this. On July 4th, I spoke to Alicia, who never takes off, because I was very upset about it. My neighbors were calling me about the sign being put up, and Alicia told me that the principal, all she had to really do was put an exit entrance.
Who's Alicia?
Alicia, you know Alicia from Holden's office with the little big mouth over there?
Works for Bob Holt. Works for Councilman Holden. Okay.
Councilman Holden. She told me that they just had to put an exit entrance sign over the doorway by Grand Avenue, and it would be 497 feet, but the principal was a little uncooperative. I just spoke to Alicia tonight, who told me the superintendent might be getting involved because it goes with city planning, if I'm correct, if she wants to chime in on me. It's too close to our schools. I'm going to start a petition tonight with my neighbors and the people of Mashpee and send it to the Office of Cannabis Management because it's unacceptable to have our children around us.
Let me ask you a question. Isn't it as simple as they're within a certain distance from the school so they can't have it there?
Right. No, it has to be through the entrance, the main entrance.
I don't know about that, but okay. We measured through to the corner of St. Stan's. Okay.
It has to be the entrance that they use.
Okay. All right. So let's do it.
Yeah,
You need
let's-
help from us? You need a letter from us? Or are you going to have a cannabis meeting? You're going to have that cannabis meeting and talk about it and present
Well,
to us
I
in
think we should
August?
have a cannabis meeting. So let's
Go for
plan
it.
one on Patrick. We'll plan one getting going.
If we have to meet in August,
But we got
just
to move
vote for
fast
that?
because their license is processing and their sign is up. They just put a black thing over their sign to cover it, but the sign's already up. So we got to move fast.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roger Young, thank you. The last speaker tonight, Roger Young, Park Advocate, Frank Principe Park.
Good evening. My name is Roger Young, and thank you. I want to thank the board for everything you have done for the park so far. I'm one of the seniors who use the park. I'm in my 70s, and thanks to that, I can say that I'm still ticking. Thanks to the board. But the board, I want you to please, if you could help out. Everybody plays, like the lady said. I played with kids this small and older and of all ages, and everybody used that park. You go to the park, you go there now, you see how busy it is. And from the plans that I see that they have, it would be a big waste of space in planning if they do that. I'm familiar with the Parks Department, and when they have their plans, they want to see their plans go through. But if you could step in the way and make sure they make some amendments or changes to this plan, I would greatly appreciate it, because if it wasn't for that park, like I said, I wouldn't have been here. I'm 72 next month, and I'm, kind of saying thank you to whoever's looking over me, because I came very close in 9/11 to go. So if it wasn't for that park, I would not have been here today. So to the board, do all you can do, because we are behind you. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Stay there for a minute. I handed the mic to our Parks Committee chair right now. I'd rather
Hi,
we
Mike.
do it now. That's Steve. There was a Zoom call we had with the Parks Department. I'm not sure if any of you were on that call when we talked about the design of that area. Steve, what are you thinking?
One of the main focuses was,
Hold on.
need this, okay? Is it on? No, it's not.
I think this is it.
Now? Yes. Hey, one of the main focuses was the pickleball courts and getting use out of the softball area, okay? Tell you the truth, I really thought any design would be exactly the same way it is. I'm really curious to find out what is in place of the 3 other courts that were taken away. What'd you have, 6 courts?
6.
6 courts, yeah. So I got to get more prints to find out what's going on here, okay?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it's not like the parks really pushes stuff down your throat. They just did a whole revamp of the upper softball field for Juniper Valley Park, and they pulled it and knocked it down from community input, no good. all right? So we'll see what we can do about this, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have some of your phone numbers here, and I've communicated with somebody by email. We think we should push for 6 courts and not have stanchions, though, so that it could be wide open for anybody to use when you guys aren't there. Do you have permits? Do you have to get permits for those courts? Okay. All right. So that'll end our public hearing for tonight, and we're going to get on with the rest of our agenda. All right. So now it's the chairman's report. Look at that. So we've got to review the minutes, and I'm looking for a motion to accept the minutes from June. Motion to amend. Microphone.
Thank you very much, Daniel. One very minor amendment in the Transportation Committee report. We didn't have our normal meeting on June 24th due to the primary election. The minutes say June 4th, so I just request request a 2 to be added. Thank you very much.
With the amendments, motion? Kathy Massey? Second, Walter. All those in favor? Any challenges? No. Okay. Review of the current applications. What do we have those here? Okay. So we're going to review the applications for new liquor licenses. Rule of 3 Group LLC, 778 Woodward Avenue, Ridgewood, New York. Kalamiscosala Group LLC, Pan Am, 1563 Decatur Street, Ridgewood. Eagles Cafe and Bar Corp., 6869 Fresh Pond Road, Ridgewood. Peppers Locarno LLC, DBA Hollow, 1563 Decatur Street, and that's Ridgewood. Polos Mario Woodhaven Corp., 6320 Woodhaven Boulevard, Rego Park. TD's Tavern, Inc., DBA Dromore West, 6431 Cooper Avenue, Glendale. For new wine and beer and cider, Simple Peruvian, Inc., 5808 Myrtle Avenue, Ridgewood. La Fleur del Parlaso de Cornelia Restaurant Corp., 1715 Cornelia Street, Ridgewood. Wine, beer, and cider renewals, JCM Pizza Limited, Corrado Pizza, 60-91 Myrtle Avenue, Ridgewood. Beer and cider renewals, Royal Pizzeria of Myrtle Corp., Royal Pizzeria of Myrtle, 5506 Myrtle Avenue. The Original Sal's Pizzeria, 60-48 Myrtle Avenue, Ridgewood. Other, Cozy Corner Corp., 6001 70th Avenue, Ridgewood. Any concerns with any of these places? Yes. Paul Kersner. Go ahead.
I live 2 blocks away from this location, and they run a good operation. The problem is that they're a bit greedy. They do have a wide enough sidewalk that they can have wrought iron seating there, and they utilize that. But now they also want to close off 60th Street on the north side between 69th Avenue and 70th Avenue to provide more off-street parking, or rather more seating, and it's really not needed because they don't feel the spaces that they already have on the sidewalk. So it's sufficient that they have what they do have on the sidewalk, and it's utilized well. But parking in Ridgewood is at a premium, and to remove 6 to 8 parking spaces just because they like it is a bit disingenuous.
So would you like us to write a letter?
I would
What
like
would you
them.
like us to
I would
do?
like them to. What should be done is that they should justify that location And I'll spend some time looking at it to show that they really don't they don't need to turn off that half a block and have a liquor license with additional seating there. It's not necessary.
Yep. Thanks, Paul. We took up this issue at the last Transportation Committee meeting. And for those who don't know, at the Transportation Committee, we do take on these requests for outdoor and sidewalk dining. So that is something that our committee does as part of our committee work. And we did have a discussion on this. This was the second time Cozy Corner came to us. They first came for a two wide, let's call it, section in the street. Now, which we approved, we voted in favor of previously, or rather, a better, more accurate way was no objection. When we're evaluating as a committee these types of requests, we tend to like to first start at, well, are they following the legal guidelines, right? So are they following the legality as the framework put out by the DOT and the municipal code? So in their case, they did follow that legal framework. So the next question we ask as a committee is, well, what's the benefit to the business versus the disruption to the neighborhood? There were voices who did air similar concerns to yours, and it was considered. The committee did ultimately vote 7-4 in favor, or rather to no objection, because it's less of a against and more of a no objection. But that's something that we're certainly going to keep an eye on.
So the question that I have, Eric,
Yeah.
the people who voted for this, would they?
We have a couple of mics.
Would the people who voted? Thank you. Would the people who voted 7-4 in favor of granting this relief to Cozy Corner, were the people who asked for that relief people who lived in the neighborhood? I don't think so. And that's the problem, you see, because I think what you have to do is, I would counsel, whatever the neighborhood is, that the committee members should be aware of the local concerns, particularly where you have alternate side parking, where parking is at a premium, which this neighborhood is. I mean, Ridgewood is the only neighborhood in Ward 5 that has ASP, and it's tough. And it's really, and again, it's not needed at this location because they have, you know, when we were doing zoning with Sylvia Deutsch, she used to say to us, if you want to give relief to somebody, you don't give them the maximum relief. You give them the minimum relief that you give them without having them cause the hardship. So in this particular case, they don't need the minimum amount of relief they already have. The street there is, the sidewalk is wide enough for the wrought iron fencing, and it's utilized well and good, that's terrific. But they don't also need now to take parking away from, actually, it's also hurting the Cozy Corner.
Thanks, Paul. You good? Any other concerns or on liquor license? Yes.
Hi, Brandon Zwagerman, board member at Ridgewood. I'd just like to speak to Paul's comment. I also was at that Transportation Committee meeting. Myself and many of the people who voted in favor of that application actually do live in Ridgewood, and I should remind folks, most folks in Ridgewood don't actually even own cars. They were applying, following the Dining Out NYC guidelines. I'd suggest take it up with the city and DOT if we want to change what those rules are as to who can apply for what outdoor seating, but they're following the rules. I don't think it's on us to judge how much seating any business does or does not need, so thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Vincent.
As I understand it, when you get a permit, you pay for the permit. The city provides, erects, and removes the street shelter that you're dining from. You no longer build it yourself. You get it, it's all in the fee, and the city takes care of everything. So city's making money, they're happy to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Yes. I got you.
Yes, just as a just an addendum to that, I know. So the fee for most restaurants is $1,000 and $1,050. The restaurant, just as a point of clarity, the restaurant still has to build it, but the city gives the exact guidelines for how it shall be built and a list of approved vendors. So just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
That was clear.
Okay, I'm going to go into demolitions. There's one demolition notice, 7928 Metropolitan Avenue in Middle Village, block 3780, lot 23. And now we're going to hear from our elected officials. Claire Collins, representing Donovan Richards, Borough President. Yes, Ken. Gary? What are they putting up in that place? They just give us a demolition notice, so. Go.
So this is where John knows this best, because he and Kathy deal with a lot of these things. So this is where Taj Village was, and the recessed one-time problem club type situation, where we and the elected officials pushed to get them closed down. I believe they already demolished Taj Village building and demoed the front of what was the club. And from what we know currently, they intend to put a laundromat there. Now, there are 2 other laundromats on Metropolitan Avenue over there, but that's what we know so far. Right, John? Yeah. And one of the questionable things to me is, Kathy O'Leary of our staff tells me that they want to add, John, tell me if I'm off base here, at least 5,000 square feet of floor area there. And I don't really see how that's possible unless you are to put an addition on the existing structure, build a new structure, and maybe in addition have a second story. So all of this is a bit of a question at this sort of thing, other than what I've told you, and the intention from what we know is for them to put a laundromat there.
Anything else? Claire, you're up. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name's Claire Collins. I'm the Community Board 5 liaison from the Office of Queensborough President Donovan Richards. First, I want to thank Vinny Arcuri for more than 4 decades of service as our CV chair, our office, and the borough president. We appreciate your partnership and leadership throughout all of the years, and we also want to congratulate Walter Sanchez on his election as board chair. I'll just go over some events really quickly. And before Gary asks, we will send these as a list to the office. So, okay, so on Thursday, July 17th at 5 p.m., we're hosting our Columbia Independence Day celebration at Queensborough Hall. And then the following Thursday, on July 24th at 5 p.m., we're hosting a community baby shower and diaper giveaway event with South Queens Women's March at 130-01 Liberty Avenue in Jamaica. And then on Wednesday, August 6th at 5 p.m. is our Ecuadorian Independence Day celebration at Queensborough Hall. On Monday, August 11th at 6 p.m., we'll be hosting our Pakistan Independence Day celebration. And then finally, on Thursday, August 14th at 6 p.m., we're hosting our India Independence Day celebration. Both of those are also at Queensborough Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Questions? No. Jonathan Betancourt, Nydia Velasquez.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for my tardiness. It's very hard to get in here. A couple of updates from our office, but first I just want to congratulate the new chair, Mr. Sanchez. Congratulations on behalf of the Congresswoman, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with CB5 with you at the head of it. A couple of updates. In Congress, in Washington, they passed this big, beautiful bill, which in our opinion is not beautiful. It is big, but it's not beautiful. A couple of highlights of this bill, if you want to call them highlights. There's a $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. $240 billion are cut from SNAP, as well as imposing work requirements from people from the ages of 18 to 64. There's cuts to student loans, repayment programs, restructuring of repayment programs, making it even more difficult for folks to go to undergrad, to go to graduate school, go to law school, and go to medical school. A lot of stuff in this bill that the Congresswoman is very much opposed to. She voted no, and she'll continue to vote against any bill that affects our communities like this one. New York State alone will see 1.2 million people lose their health insurance. Our hospitals will lose $800 million annually due to this bill. So she voted against it, and like I said, she'll continue to vote against any bill that does this much harm to our community and our district. Just want to end on a good note. We want to say thank you for all of your service to Vincent Arcuri, Mr. Former Chair, for all of your public service. We have a certificate here signed by the Congresswoman, as well as Ms. Peggy O'Kane. We have one here for you too. We thank you all, everyone here, for your public service, but we really want to honor you both. So I have their certificates right here. And if anything, if you guys need any assistance with a federal agency, feel free to call our office at 718-599-3658. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. We'd like you to pose for a picture with Peggy and Vinny. So we have our community board photographer. Yeah. Thank you, Jonathan. And you got... And Tiana Armstrong is here. She has no updates, but she says hello. She's Grace Meng, representative from Congressperson Grace Meng. And we have Alicia Valachutis. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Phyllis from Council Member Joanne Ariola's office. Hi, Phyllis.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. We'd also like to send our thanks to Vinny Arcuri for his several decades of work here in Community Board 5, and we wish him well on his semi-retirement, I guess. And congratulations to Walter. We look forward to working with you. The council member is proud to announce that in this year's FY26 budget, she has obtained over $25 million for our district. She will be funding many of the schools in the area, including PS 119, 91, and 113, with technology upgrades that they requested, as well as all different CASA funding, which is programs that she brings into the schools, like Inside Broadway, where the children get to perform a Broadway show for their other students and parents. There's a bunch of different programs that we give to each of the schools. There's at least 2 programs per school every year, so she's proud to fund that. She was also very proud to be able to secure $2 million from New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams towards the Dry Harbor Playground. So that playground has been plagued with lots of issues with flooding and issues around the playground area. So there's seed money there for that, and we'll continue to get more funding towards it until it's all funded for a full renovation. She will also be repaving from Myrtle Avenue to Park Lane South. In Forest Park. That road is completely chopped up, and that will be paved this fall. It's coming up. We already booked that with DOT. We continue to work with on derelict vehicles with the 104 precinct. Again, if you have any concerns, our office is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 718-738-1083. We look forward to seeing you all over the summer at different events, and we wish you a happy and safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Kimberly Vega, representing Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Vega from Councilmember Gutierrez's office. I just want to congratulate you, Walter, on your new position, and thank you, Vinny, for all you've done. I don't have much, just a regular office clinics are still happening. We have community citizenship now every Monday and core housing attorneys every third Wednesday of the month. Both require an appointment, which you can make at 718-963-3141. CUF is also at our office for assistance on housing applications every Thursday. No appointment is needed. And since summer is officially here, as always, if there are any spots or locations with excessive garbage, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. John D'Angelo, representing State Senator Joseph Adabo Jr. And John was here early tonight, boy, 7 o'clock.
It's nice to be loved here. Again, on behalf of the Senator, first and foremost, so congratulations, Walter, and Vinny, thank you for all your years of service. Oh, there you go. I knew you didn't leave, okay. That's okay. Okay, just 3 quick points. The federal budget, we know what that is. It's likely to enact major cuts to New York's health, education, and other important areas. So the Senator anticipates the legislation will need to return to Albany at some point to address these issues. As they are made more clear, we will keep our constituents informed. The process for obtaining one of the 3 coveted downstate New York casino licenses has officially begun. It's a multi-stage evaluation with a lot of input, and let's see, applicants must submit detailed proposals by June 27th, which they all have, and they're expecting a final decision to be made by December 31st. And last but not least, as in customary, upcoming events, free legal advice at right outside our Middle Village office by the New York Legal Assistance Group. I think that's the official title. We just ask if you're interested to call and make an appointment. They offer advice on all different issues, domestic abuse, bankruptcy, what? Oh, okay, and a whole slew of things. And then last but not least, because if we don't meet in August, the Veterans Barbecue is September 6th down at the Howard Beach Motorboat Club. Anyone who's a veteran, I would really ask you to come. It's a great day, food for everybody, nonstop food, music, no speeches, et cetera. The flyers are on the table with my business card on the back. Have a good evening.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We have Kevin Morris here from the mayor's office, Mayor Eric Adams.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Very quickly, I just want one very quick announcement to make. Mayor Adams has announced the new Department of Sustainable Delivery. This is a new organization which will be held under the Department of Transportation, which will be conducting enforcement around the illegal mopeds, e-bikes, and e-scooter riding, which will be holding delivery apps accountable for ensuring that commercial cyclists are using safe and legal equipment, and that delivery companies face repercussions for any unsafe behavior. So we just wanted to announce this tonight. We will be giving out greater details with the Department of Transportation soon. We just wanted to let you all know of that. So we hope that you have a wonderful summer. Please feel free to reach out to us on behalf of the community board if there's anything that you need us to address over the summer. And we look forward to seeing you again come September.
We have a question for you. Does that have to go through the city council?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Maria Valdez from State Senator Julia Salazar's office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Valdez from the Office of Senator Julia Salazar. We continue to have our tenant support unit at our office the first Tuesday of every month. No appointment necessary from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will also have a climate-adjusted town hall on August 7th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 211 South 4th Street. You will hear from Senator Julia Salazar about the wins of the budget, and from Newton Greek Alliance and El Puente. I'm going to leave flyers in the front. you're welcome to RSVP. Stay tuned for on our social media for upcoming events. We will have more town halls in the district and book bag giveaways. You can always reach out to our office at 718-573-1726. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Jamie Battle from Assemblymember Stephen Raga's office.
Hi, everyone. So I know y'all are used to and spoiled by Dolma, but she's in Nepal for a month, so I'll be taking her place for tonight. My name is Jamie. I am with the office Assemblymember Stephen Raga. On behalf of the Assemblymember, I do want to thank Vinny for all the years of service that you've done and also congratulate Walter. So really, really excited to see y'all in the future. So I have a quick few announcements. So the first two that I want to highlight is session is over, and the Assemblymember is super happy that his FOIL bill that would increase government transparency was passed in both chambers. So really happy to see that, and now it goes to the governor's desk and hoping that she approves it. What it does is that it reduces the timeline that agencies have to respond to FOIL requests. Right now, there's an average of a year. Sometimes it's over a year. And Assemblymember Raga strongly believes in government transparency. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that we're able to get this changed for the state. The other one to highlight is this Student Financial Aid Awards bill letter. This one, again, is transparency, but for students to understand the true net cost of college. Right now, like when I went to college, I know I look 12, but it was a few years ago, they don't list the actual cost that college would be before loans. So for me, it would seem like it's, I'm only paying $5,000, but $4,900 is loan. So we really want to see the true cost of what it would be for college. The other things I want to highlight is part of Assemblymember Raga's discretionary funding. He allocated funding to ACE. They do cleanings throughout the district. So right now, one of the areas that he is focusing on is 71st Street and Calanis Avenue. We've been getting a lot of complaints with rodents with the CSX tracks. Right now, we are in communication with CSX to get permission for ACE to actually clean it, since they are very slow to do proper sanitation on the tracks. Also want to highlight that we did have our annual Declaration of Independence Day event. Thank you to all those who asked our office to bring it back. Last year we did take a pause because we did a summer reading collaboration with Maspeth Town Hall instead, but the community loved it, wanted to see it back, so now it's here to stay. So thank you to those who were able to show up. We also do have an upcoming Youth Day. We're going to be having a panel and honoring youths throughout the district, but does not have to just be from 80/30. So if you know of youth that you want to honor, please, please, please feel free to find me in the back. I'll give you my email, and I can send you our form to nominate them so they could potentially be honored at our event. And the last two things, we're having an upcoming backpack giveaway event. So more details to come. I will email the community board with more details so y'all can see and call our office. And we also did co-hosted a Polish Heritage Day last month in Albany, which was really successful. So it was great. Nice meeting you all. I'll be here, and these are also our summer interns. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Okay, that's it for public officials. I wanted to say that having no less than 10 public officials here, their representatives, is incredible. It should be a buffet for you people to speak to them. They're here. They come every month. They take their time. Rachel, we feel your pain with what you were talking about, but the legislators are here. You could talk to them about it. So I invite you to, even in the middle of the meeting, as long as you're not disruptive, go and talk to them. The public, you guys should come, because this is where you see your legislators. I mean, it's incredible. It's a buffet here. So use it well. That's why you're on the community board, okay? So with that, I'm going to go right to Gary with his district manager's report.
Good evening. Thanks for coming to the summer meeting. We got a good turnout. Walter Clayton reminded me, National Night Out Against Crime is on August the 6th, right? At Juniper?
First Wednesday in August, yeah.
Which Wednesday, August the 6th, at Juniper Valley Park. And I think they start about 5, correct? Yeah. Give or take? Oh, it's the 5th. Okay.
I thought it was Wednesday.
It's usually a Tuesday. So in the 80th Street area of Juniper Valley Park, right? Yeah. Okay. And there's often Numerous people have tables there, so it's a real nice event. 5:30? Yep. Okay. Lee? Okay, the School of Rock at 7 o'clock. A lot of folks talked about Principe Park and pickleball. So to me, that's good news, because some of us thought that pickleball was going to be way too loud in that residential area. So we'll look at the plans, Mr. Fiedler and I, and we'll see how they might be able to get more pickleball courts in there. They are primarily, or I think exclusively, where the pretty much unused small asphalt softball field was, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I don't think we're going to have a situation. The funding that's available for the park currently is for a good portion of the playground area, and you'd be amazed at how much money parks projects cost. Right, Alicia? Oh, yeah. So there's no discussion currently that I can imagine, and I don't know if I heard this correctly, of putting pickleball courts where the turf baseball field is now. If there's any idea of that, that would be a big, big, big step. And to be honest with you, soccer is so popular, I see a lot of soccer players on what is the baseball field.
That's correct.
Right. Because soccer has really boomed. And credits to Councilmember Holden and his staff, because they allocated most of the funding, I think, for Principe Park, at least for the hard surface area, the playground area, out of the allocation that Councilman Holden obtained from the city of New York. So it's nice to thank the community board, but the funding was provided by Councilmember Holden with his allocation, and he's made some good choices. Benninger Park in Ridgewood, which is a heavily used park that is across from some multiple dwellings, which is real important, where people don't have their own backyard, is supposed to start reconstruction finally. It's supposed to be this week. I went there Monday and nothing had started yet. So that's on Madison Street, just west of Fresh Pond Road, going toward Forest Avenue. Okay. And I think crime has gone down considerably so far this year in the 104th precinct. And one thing that really bothers me, Marianne, from the stats that Officer Berish and Officer Bonilla were kind enough to give us, was that year to date, as of the May meeting of the Public Safety Committee, the precinct gave out, and this doesn't count what traffic enforcement might have given out, more than 6,000, Marianne, correct me if I'm wrong, summonses for parking either at or too close to fire hydrants in this precinct. 6,000 summonses in less than 5 complete months. Something's wrong as far as that goes. Okay, and it is the end of the fiscal year, the beginning of a new fiscal year. Just like we send all of you the proposed liquor licenses, wine and beer, cider, that sort of thing, we all sent you a recap, or staff sent you a recap of our budget for this year. So essentially our total budget is $288,290 that, and John, you may need to help me here, that doesn't include our rent, which is $44,064. which we have no control over, and our utilities, which is $4,503. So 288 plus 48,587. And Councilmember Holden was kind enough to allocate $6,000 to Board 5, which we primarily use to buy some new computers because our computers are aging out, the desktops. And we use some of that funding to, should I tell them now? Or keep it a surprise? All right. All right. Yeah, me and my big mouth, you'll have to wait. And we use some of that funding to pay for the recording of the meeting and the broadcasting of our meetings. But we did not spend $8,744 because Pat Murdo retired and we were not able to replace her yet. And I'm kind of debating with OMB about how much money is going to be in that budget line to hire a part-timer, but we will be looking to hire a part-time person in the next few months, hopefully within the next 2. And we have to advertise the position. This has to be a very open process. And I've always been kind of strict with regard to hiring. So I don't really care who's anybody's best friend or anything like that. I intend to push for the best person for the job, which is what I have done for the past 30 plus years. And I don't make many staff mistakes. So it's got to be an open process and based on who the best candidates are and all of that. And we are not planning an August meeting. We do have 2 upcoming meetings in the summer. One is the Homeless Services, what I like to call this Homeless Services Committee, and I'll tell all the board members, I think we made a real bad choice on naming that committee because it's called the Committee on the Homeless. That's what our bylaws say. So I would much rather it be, and that's a debate for later, something like the Homeless Services Committee, because it sounds a bit oppressive to me for it to be the Committee on the Homeless. So there, let me finish. Well, we can name committees as we choose to. No, they can, Peggy, look, that's not a debate. We can debate that later. I'll leave it at this. We have a choice what to name our committees. We are in charge of which committees we will have as a community board, and we have the right to name committees, in my opinion, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it in this case. Wouldn't be the first time, as we see fit to call a committee. So what I would like to call the Homeless Services Committee is meeting on the 17th, that's a Thursday, at 7 o'clock at the board office. If you want to come to the meeting at the board office, please call us because space is limited. And then on the 21st, we're scheduled to have a Housing Services Committee meeting. It's a follow-up on the meeting that took place 2 months ago. And I think one of the things the Housing Services Committee is really looking at is where there is sites for availability to construct housing in our area. And a big problem is how many 6-family homes may not be rent stabilized any longer for various reasons. And for me, I'm not looking to lose rent stabilized units because what's going on, especially in Ridgewood, is a lot of families have moved out. I'm not saying none have moved in, but a lot of families have moved out of Ridgewood, and these schools where we push to get school additions years and years, 4 years and years, and the school district, and the Department of Education came through big time. And I'm talking IS 77 on Seneca at George Street and PS 71 on Forest Avenue between, Menahan and Bleecker or thereabout. They are all under attended at this stage of the game. And the Department of Education is planning or proposing to move, to co-locate schools in those sites, which can be a good thing, but it just shows you that how that man says the rent is too darn high for too many people, especially for families. And I think what you have in a lot of cases, especially in Ridgewood, is 3 single people who were splitting an apartment. And that's certainly the case above the community board that used to be an architectural office. So too many families, in my opinion, have been felt that they have been pushed out of Ridgewood because Ridgewood has done very well and housing prices are very high, and they just, too many of them felt they've got to find something more affordable. And I don't think in the long term that's good for the neighborhood. Okay. So I thank you for being here and all the good you do. And I hope you have a safe, wonderful rest of the summer. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. One last thing. You were all sent a survey from the Charter Revision Committee, right? Everybody was sent that survey, emailed that survey. I filled it out. They're asking questions like, give me blank looks. No, you didn't get it? Today or yesterday? You got it. Okay. If any of you filled it out, I did. They're asking a couple of things. How much mayoral control should be over appointing of commissioners? And they want your opinion, and they want your opinion about how important the council is towards making decisions, how important the community board is. So I think you should take a look at it and fill it out in the next couple of days. They are looking for input. We're going to go on to committee reports, and I am going to give land use first. Department of City Planning is working on a citywide industrial area. They want to review and plan how to change, they want to study how industrial areas, and we have them here in Ridgewood and Glendale and Maspeth, how they could rezone, think about rezoning it to add more residential. So they'll be updating us. They're going to come to us later. They're actually going to put out a plan later this month, and they're going to be presenting to us in the next few months. The other thing was the New York City Department of Environmental Protection has a plan for combined sewer overflows in Newtown Creek. The bulk of the combined sewer overflows, and if you know what that is, it's where the rainwater mixes with our wastewater, and it goes right into the Newtown Creek. Well, they're planning on taking 4 or 5 of those, the biggest CSOs, that apparently have 50 million gallons coming out of them, and they're building a 50 million gallon storage tank and filter to start the cleanup of Newtown Creek. We asked them about the DEP property. If you remember, DEP took over a property a little bit just west of the Grand Street Bridge on the Newtown Creek, and it was a pretty big piece of property, and we wanted to, they're using it for aeration. They're putting, like in a fish tank, where you have a tube that goes to the bottom of your fish tank and blows up bubbles. They're using that to help aerate the Newtown Creek. And we wanted that property to be used for soccer or something. It's just a wide open property, and there's also access to the creek. So that's going to be revisited, and I know Kathy Massey over there, you had brought somebody in who runs the Gotcha soccer program that would be interested in taking care of that. They mentioned that nobody is interested in doing it, but there are similar things around. ICYP, RGMV baseball, where they are given land for $1 a year for 99 years, and they take care of it. So we think we can get the same thing accomplished there. All right? So that's it. They'll be with us in the next couple of months. It'll be a park. All right, now we've got the Parks Committee. Come on.
Question for the land use committee.
Sure. Yep.
Testing. You hear me? Great. Walter, I know you spoke about separately the email that went out on the Charter Revision Committee
Yes.
Commission's proposed changes to zoning. Did the committee discuss that? Does the committee have anything to report to us
We-
on that specific topic?
We didn't, no, we will, it's a good thought.
Yeah, because I think the Charter Revision Commission is having their final meeting in about 2 weeks. And that's when they're making their final vote on what goes on the ballot, more or less. So if the board is to put in comment, we really have 2 weeks as a board, more or less, to do so.
I'm not sure if I saw questions on zoning on that survey, on the survey.
So-
Yeah, John, go ahead.
Can I just throw in?
Yeah.
There are two competing
Yes.
charter revision commissions.
Right.
There's the mayor's, and then there is the city councils, and the city councils is called something like Commission on Strengthening Democracy. That's the one that went out on Monday, and all board members were BCC'd on.
Kevin, you up on this?
Only familiar with the mayor's.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I guess to jump off on what John mentioned, the Mayor's Commission has 5 proposals that they are seeking to put on the ballot. One of those is a drastic overhaul to the way any ULURP or other zoning changes are made throughout the city. Effectively, their argument is that the current setup, which first goes to the community boards and has an effective,
Right.
even though not a literal, but an effective veto from the council member, is too restrictive and too neighborhood focused and does not take in the quote unquote greater good of the borough. And their proposal currently, and again, not final, but near final, is to overhaul that process, supplant the council member's input for the borough president. So the borough president jumps in, the council member drops out, borough president drops in, community board drops out. That authority goes straight to the borough president.
Right.
And the rest of the authority is delegated straight to city planning. So it's much more centralized. Borough president, the city planning, much less local input, and effectively getting rid of that council member, quote unquote, veto.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of zoning committees, the complaints that I've gotten from developers is that a lot of zoning committees just say no to everything, no to any kind of development. The committees do that, and it's backfiring now, where people are saying it's hurting development, or it's slowing down the process. So we should we'll have a meeting, a Zoom meeting, our land use meeting, and construct a letter that could go out. Hopefully it does something, because it's really not a good plan. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. Just as a point of order, I would say, especially given the grave impacts that basically gutting the ULURP process.
Yeah.
Obviously, the opinions of, of course, developers are very not happy about ULURP, but the mayor's proposal essentially pretty much means that there is a way, especially with the very pro-housing mayor that we have, to completely nuke any sort of input that community boards have, and especially the local council members who are often looking at the piece of paper that says the community boards vote on their opinion.
Right.
So I would be nervous if we delegated the community boards vote on this matter as a whole to the committee. It would be great if we could either all take a stance on this or revisit this at a later time.
Sure. I mean, we could absolutely do it. Robert Smelly. I mean, I think I know how we feel about this. I mean, we've
Hello?
talked about it. Yeah.
Am I on?
Yep.
I'm a little concerned. I'm watching the trend of what's going on. Last year, we talked about zoning, and we talked about making people live in basement areas and things like that, and a lot of other rules. And maybe they're even thinking about taking our residential area and making multi-story buildings here, like is done in Greenpoint. Now, that attaches also with taking away the land use committee, allowing that taken away from community boards. So you have two things going on that are related, the land use and the zoning. So if they change the zoning and you don't have a land use even to protect or to speak against it, that could be a reason why they're taking away the zoning from the community board. So I'm concerned about that, and I think that one of the things we should do is speak up and give our opinion about that. And also, we should get in line with other community boards in Queens and see what they think about it, because this is not only here, this is all the community
Right.
boards. So, you know, unless you just want to keep quiet about it and let them do what they want.
I don't think we have any intention of keeping quiet about it. I just think
Well,
it
I'm
came
not
up
saying-
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's obviously, we like the input that we give. And if you know anything about our land use committee, we speak to developers and we get them to change what they're doing.
You've done a wonderful job. at
Yeah.
that, and I'm not.
It would be
even-
horrible
I'm not
if it
even. I'm not
passed
even
us.
talking about it.
Yeah.
You've been on it for many years, and you should be thankful. You know, I should be thankful, and we should be thankful for the job you've done. But now they're taking that job away from you, and from everybody else.
Right.
And that's what I'm concerned about. Not what you did.
There's a lot of momentum
You did a
for that,
wonderful
by the way.
job, and it's not you, it's everybody who has land uses in other community boards
Right.
too. They're taking that away. Why are they taking that
Well,
away?
I'm telling you
Is
why,
it-
because
is
they
it-
all say no to everything, and
Well,
they
it's
really.
not all say
Well,
no to anything.
they do.
It's not.
Many of them
and,
do.
and when you speak, you're speaking for the community. They're not speaking for the community. They're speaking for something else, I
Right.
believe. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Paul,
you.
do you want to do a resolution now and have Gary write a letter?
Well, the point is, I think we got to know what the board wants. You know, so this is something to be discussed.
What's the time frame that we have to act or react on this? Like
Eric,
immediately?
You say it's 2 weeks?
My understanding is that the Charter Revision Commission, my understanding is that the Charter Revision Commission, that is the Mayor's Commission, is having its final meeting in 2 weeks. They put out their preliminary report last week, and my understanding is they will finalize their proposals, and they will be final and done at the end of that meeting, approximately 2
So
weeks.
we have to have a response.
Well, we do know that they're looking to put it on the charter to have us vote for it, so it's got to be quick.
Okay.
In November.
And so our position should be,
Right.
based upon our years of activity in this area, that we should be totally opposed to the mayor's grabbing of this for his development.
Would you like that to be a motion that we're looking for
Well,
a second that
I
Gary
want
could?
to couch it in a way that we should reach out to our sister community boards, not only in Queens, but in Brooklyn, and ask them how we should handle this thing so that we don't have the Adams administration taking land use totally away from community boards.
Would you like us to
We should have.
also write a letter and have something here that a motion that we
Well,
write a letter
we-
opposing
yeah.
what they're doing? Okay.
We should definitely write a letter to the mayor, well, we should send a letter to.
We could go to the borough president, to the mayor, and
Yeah.
charter revision commission.
Now, unfortunately, the borough president is not going to be supportive of this. He's not. He's never met a developer that he didn't like. And so what we have to do is we have to go to our sister community boards in Queens and in Brooklyn and ask them to work with us quickly to stop the mayor from taking over land use and leave it with the community boards where it is now.
Phyllis, I'm going to ask Phyllis from Councilwoman Joanna Ariola's office to come up and speak to us about this.
So I just think there's some confusion because there's two different charter revision
Right.
commissions, right? The speaker has hers, which we really haven't heard from in a while, and now suddenly they're picking back up. But the
Correct.
mayor's charter revision commission, the final meeting was yesterday. So you could have given public testimony up until yesterday. You have until July 15th to give written testimony. Now, most of the community boards throughout Queens, we've received probably 12 letters from different community boards already. So you could definitely reach out. I know Betty at Community Board 10, they sent a letter. Community Board 6 sent a letter. So reach out to the other community boards, you know, just if you want to see just how they're doing their testimony. But you have to have it in by July 15th.
Okay.
On July 21st, that is the final meeting. That is where we will find out which proposals will be going onto the ballot for a referendum. And that just means that the public gets to vote, and unfortunately, the public is very uninformed about what these referendums are, and people say when they're walking in, just vote yes on the back of the ballot, just vote yes on the back of the ballot, or they don't vote at all. But this will essentially take away any say that the community has. Because if the council member says no, and I know that Councilmember Areola says no based on what you all say, what the community board says, as a majority, and for you to all send, you can all send in written testimony on your own as well, but your community board should be taking a vote on in which direction you want your community board to go. So while I know the gentleman over here said, I'd like us all to weigh in separately, you're allowed. You're a resident of New York City. You can weigh in separately. But your community board, based on the majority of the people here, which is why you exist as a voice for the majority, right, on different issues, should be putting in your position, weighing in with your
Thank you.
position.
Yeah.
Okay? And Walter, I'll get you that contact of who to send it to.
Great.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have a motion. I move that we submit a letter against this proposal of the Charter Revision Commission, and in that letter, we specifically state the reasons why, specifically the importance we feel in having community input and ULURP decisions, and why that is important, and why historically, and Gary has a ton of historical context, that has always worked better for not just our community, but for the city of New York by having that community input, and that we CC our council members, the borough president, and the other community boards, so they could see our thoughtful comment too, and jump on that and piggyback on it.
Okay, well, seconded. Gary, you okay with writing that kind of a letter? That's part of discussion. We'll have a discussion. Robert Smelly.
I just want to inform this board, if anybody doesn't know, that the charter revision is one of the most important things. It is the Bible of the city, and it comes around every 10 years. And we're here now, the 10 year, to vote on this on a referendum. So whatever gets passed, we have to still try to inform our people how important this could involve people's pensions, things that are written down, and it could change these things through a charter revision.
Good point.
It's a very important thing. It's not something that it's it's out there and don't worry about it, because this could affect a lot of people. High sick leave and all kinds of things, they could go into that. And I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either one of those revisions yet. But I'd like to see it, and we have to let the public know, at least this community, what's going on, what's in those revisions, and if it should come down to a change, we have to vote on it, we have to do a campaign to let the people know what they're voting on, because it's going to come in a referendum. Thank you.
So, any other discussion on this? Yes.
Yeah, piggybacking on what Bob said, they always word it so misleading that it sounds like the last time they had the revisions, the city, the elections always word things so misleading that people don't realize what they're voting for. And we have to educate people as to what they are and try to get them to word it, less leaning towards what they want.
Does anybody have an objection to that motion? So we don't need to take a vote. Everybody say a yay? Anybody a nay? You're a nay. Okay. Brendan is a nay.
Everyone else is in favor?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now, yes.
Apologies, Daniel Hurdy from Ridgewood. I have to take it, and I have to abstain due to having conflict with my boss possibly commenting on this in a future hearing. Thank you.
So noted. Stephen Fiedler.
You ready now?
I'm ready now. We're ready. Thank you, Eric.
Okay. Just real quick, Gary said that the construction is starting at Benninger Park, which we all have down as already starting, which is the park is usually late, but it'll get going. In my attempts to get the Class 1 fresh land water at the Ridgewood Reservoir, I have acquired letters from Congresswoman Nadia Valdez, Senator Adabo, City Council Robert Holden, Joanne Areola, Borough President Donovan, New York City H2O, Forest Park Trust, and Community Board 5. And I'm just starting. Other than that, let me see, the Juniper Valley Park Field number 3 that they completed, Land Tech, the New York Mets organization, they're having a little problem with the sod, so it should have been done about a month ago. It's still not done. They put a sprinkler system in the infield, and it seems not to be sprinkling like they want it to. Their grass is turning yellow. All right, so that's not finished yet. Field 1 is good. We still haven't got the bases yet, though. Other than that, that park is pretty good. They're having a problem with garbage, though, big time, okay, because Juniper Valley is the hub. So if they don't have a garbage truck, which is constantly broken, it's called a packet, all of that garbage from the other parks comes to Juniper. And then they wait for a district truck, a huge, large district truck to come and get it, and it just sits there and sits there and sits there. Gary took care of it once, or tried to take care of it once with the city coming, a city garbage truck to pick it up. I noticed it was gone the next day, but I was there today and it's all back again. So we need to do something with the city parks and how they handle their garbage. They just can't be dropping it. They got to have some kind of containers or something. I got to try to put something together with you, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? So we understand, Stephen, you understand the dilemma at Principe Park where they want the pickleball courts. If we put permanent stanchions, it gets in the way of somebody using it for skating, somebody using it for softball. If it's left the way it is and just 6 courts are painted, it leaves room for people to do other sports in that. And that's probably preferable to us. It's like the turf field where it's wide open, so they could play soccer on it while they're not playing baseball.
Yeah, that's fine, all right, but it looks like they added, what else did they add in this diagram to take out the 3 other fields? Gary,
What fields?
You have a bigger diagram than this?
What fields you mean?
The pickleball courts are on
Courts.
the old softball field, right?
Correct.
There's 6 courts across, right?
No, it's 4 courts across and then 2 are catty-cornered.
No, that's the new drawing, the old way.
The way they're doing it right now, without any new thing, the
It's
same.
6 across.
It's 4.
4 across.
4 and then 2
Okay.
others.
So there's 4 courts here, and how many courts did they put in? 3?
They're only putting 3. It's like they're leaving room for something else. I guess we'll talk about, you and I will talk about that, because I want you to understand it better.
We need a
All
better
right.
diagram.
Any other questions? No. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to go on to transportation.
Hi, everyone. Eric. Green. Test. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Eric Buckowitz. I'm going to give the Transportation Committee report, then Brandon, who's the chair of Public Transit, is going to give the Public Transit report. We met on June 17th. A couple quick updates. Road resurfacing. I briefed everyone last month that Gary put in a letter requesting 17 road miles of resurfacing. Usually, we do really well. The city is very receptive, and the DOT gives us quite a bit. This year was a little surprising and a little strange. We didn't get our request granted, and more or less we're told we have to wait a year. So what Gary did, he followed up with the DOT and said, hey, if we're not resurfacing these streets, what other streets in CB5 are being resurfaced? Because there has to be some street, that you're working on. We're waiting for that response. So we really want to get a survey of what the DOT has as the troublesome streets in the area, and really make sure that those are actually the most troublesome streets in the area that are being prioritized. So we're continuing that dialogue. Gary's on it, and I'll provide an update when there is an update on why their list might be different than our list. But if you see any streets that are very bad, and this is important because it's a big neighborhood, small world, big neighborhood. If you see one that's really bad, call the office, report it, because they keep a running list, and it really helps knowing where the bad streets are. Same with any safety issues in the neighborhood, pedestrian safety, traffic safety, potholes. If you see it, call the board office, email the board office, put it in, and we'll address it. The next meeting is going to be August 26th. That's a Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. at the CB5 office. We're taking July off, as is customary, with past practice. And now, Brandon.
Thanks, Eric. I was asked to, this is an issue really more on the transportation side, but I was up there this morning, so I'm going to give an update on the Cypress Avenue and Vermont Place Pedestrian and Bike Safety Improvements Project. That project's getting closer to completion. The protected bike lane on Cypress is nearly done except for one remaining section of it at Vermont Place. The new sidewalks on Cypress Avenue and Vermont Place are nearly completed as of this morning. And then this morning I saw DOT has started work right at the bottom of the Jackie Robinson ramps at Vermont Place. I think they're doing some ADA improvements. Not sure what else there, but we're glad to see this project nearly complete. Some updates from the public transit side. I don't think there's any further updates on this, but Gary reported that the MTA had noted that the M-Train elevated structure repainting was still delayed due to some unspecified issues with the construction contractor, so that's disappointing. The MTA would provide an update to Queens Community Boards about some plans in place to swap part of the route of the M-Train with the F-Train in East Midtown, Roosevelt Island, and Long Island City. It's planned for December 2025, using a never-before-used direct connection between the 63rd Street line and the Queens local stations. So what's going to happen is the M will change to run along the current F line along 63rd Street, serving the Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street, Roosevelt Island, 21st Street, Queensbridge stations, and then the F will then run along the 53rd Street line, serving the current M stations at Lexington, 53rd, Court Square, and 23rd, and Queens Plaza. These changes will be in place 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., and they say for 98% of customers, this will increase reliability and reduce delays, resulting in net travel time savings. The Queens bus network redesign route changes are currently being implemented. The first phase is already in place, and then the remainder of the routes will be changed on August 31. Reminder to refer to the guide ride boxes on the bus stops, as well as mta.info/queensbus for information about all these service changes to routes and stops. And while we don't anticipate MTA will be making any changes anytime soon to this redesign, if you are noticing unforeseen issues that are being caused by these changes to routes or stops, don't hesitate to reach out and share those with the board office. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, library. Anything on library? No. Public safety.
Yeah, that microphone is very important because we can't hear on the tape.
I know there was a burglary on Grand Avenue of a convenience store. It was still under investigation. I know that they had a rollout gate that you use a key for, and somehow when the owner came in the morning or the worker, the gate was opened already. They took cash and they took vapes. I know there was I spoke to Officer Bonilla recently, and there was a gunpoint robbery on, I think she said 60th Street by the LIE, that happens around 1 a.m. in the morning recently. And that's all I know right now. Thank you.
Do you need any help with that, with attention to the cannabis shop that you were talking about earlier? Are you going to gather there and do something?
As we're doing the meeting, I was getting a petition up. I want to get a petition going, and I want to get signatures fast and send it to the Office of Cannabis Management.
If you want to get a time where a bunch of us will go there and just do, like a protest.
Protest? Oh, I'm all into protest.
Okay, we're good. Fred, how did the relay go? Not yet. Any other committees? Any other committees that I missed? All right, the time is now 9:02, so we'll do good and welfare first.
Testing. I got the testing going. All right. It was a great event. I would say we don't have, because we don't stay overnight anymore. We don't have as many tents set up around the field, and more so people come and go. However, as far as raising the funds, we had raised over $90,000 already that we knew of as of that night, and more money keeps coming in. So we're expecting it to raise about $100,000 for the one night. Again, American Cancer Society Relay for Life, most incredible fundraiser that I ever saw, where basically one employee and volunteers in one night can raise that kind of money. So it's pretty amazing. We had almost gotten up to about 200,000 for a couple years, but then a little bit of interest slips, COVID hit. We went down to probably about $50,000, but we're up to about $100,000 again now. So it was a really nice night. We lucked out with a beautiful day. And at the Night Out Against Crime, Glendale Kiwanis will be serving hot dogs. So if you go there hungry, we're going to cook and feed you.
Date? What's the date?
That's the one that's on the 5th, the Night Out Against Crime.
August
First
5th.
Tuesday in August. And coming down. It's always a great night.
Okay, thank you. New business, old business. If you've heard committee reports tonight, if you're interested in being on any one of the committees that you haven't been assigned yet, speak to Kathy Massey. She's over here. She's the first vice chair, or you could speak to me, and we'll get it going. We are having people who are not on the community board on these committees. I think it's going to energize the committees, like the pickleball people who were here, or the gentleman, or David there in our transportation. Maybe you can come to our transportation meeting and talk about it. But I thank you very much for coming. A motion to adjourn? Second? Second. All adjourned. Thank you. Thank you to Our Lady of Hope and Father Peter for having us use this place.